of you can hear. I'm sure you have already heard from the team that with all of our new stage purchases today, everyone will be receiving a free Hot Smart Rich lip butter, which is a tinted lip butter incorporation of Maggie. It's absolutely beautiful. It also has a nod to our Canadian roots, so it does have this really yummy maple flavor that is just to die for. You'll want to keep applying it all day long. So obsessed with this. So because Maggie already has her base on, we're really going to focus on adding color, adding blush, adding dimension. So one of my favorite products is our Nudies All Over Face color. So how many of you have tried nude sticks or played with a nudie before?
Love that.
Love to see it. So at Nude Sticks, just to give you some background on who we are, we create beauty products essentially for real life. For the woman who says, I'm busy, I'm on the go, but I still want to look and feel like the best version of myself. Everything we do is about clean, vegan, cruelty-free beauty. And when we launched in 2014, the word minimalist or no makeup really wasn't a thing in the color cosmetic category. So that was really where we stepped in to develop products that were easy to use, less is more. You can use them if you're an artist, a non-artist, or anything in between, and you still get this really beautiful, effortless look, but every single product is developed and formulated to also have maximum performance and impact. So, our Nudies collection, this is our all-over face color. We have almost 40 shades of Nudies, whether you're looking for a blush, bronze, or glow. You have your color bulb on one side, and on the other side, you have a synthetic blending brush that does twist off so that you can wash it. So my favorite way to use this is typically just applying it directly to my skin, but you can also use a brush. So I'm going to use a blending buff brush for Maggie because she does already have a light base on her skin. And using my brush, I'm just going to apply it wherever I want to add a little bit of color and dimension. So a fun tip, if you are wearing product underneath, place them on the back of your hand. Make sure that the entire brush essentially has product on it so that you have an even distribution of product. And then we're going to start tapping into the skin. This is the shade Vanilla, which is actually, does everyone know Glamzilla here?
Yes.
Okay, funny enough, so Maggie actually helped us put together the Glamzilla partnership. So
Full circle.
Very full circle. We love supporting our fellow female creators, bosses, and this shade was really Stephanie's nod to her roots, hence the name Manila. And is for her that perfect bronzer shade that you can obviously use to add depth and dimension, but it also has a little bit of like this red undertone so that you can kind of blonde with it as well. And Maggie, you can see, just already has like beautiful cheekbones, like maybe too much here. But just add this really nice luscious color and lips. What I love about our matte formula is that you have this really beautiful soft matte finish, but it's not flat. It still gives you a little bit of dimension. And going into the summer months as well, mind you, it feels like summer today. I don't know how many of you are like, what is going on? It is hot. And so, when it comes to wearing products that give you a less is more look, sometimes the cream products like immediately melt when you get into the sun or in the heat. What's great about this is that it doesn't have as many oils as traditional cream blushes that are typically very slippy or after a few hours will just remove whereas this actually provides a good amount of coverage, so you're going to get that long wear. So I'm just going to tap it onto wherever I want to look. When it comes to bronzer as well, my favorite tip is think about where the sun would naturally hit. Tops of the cheeks, forehead, nose. You can even take a little bit into the brow bone as well. And I find that that's what really creates the most responsive, natural sun look. And then another tip I love is to take a smaller side of the brush and use my bronzer right into the crease to contour the eye. This is like a great hack for someone who's like, don't try another eyeshadow. It's just another product. And you're also amazing. Does anyone follow Maggie's Get Ready with Me?
I'm not that good.
You are.
I'm just gonna get to Nude Sticks. The biggest hack that I had is I put Bubbly Bay underneath all my foundation, and it just like stickies the makeup to you. So especially like I'll get hormonal acne sometimes, and if you want to cover up a pimple, like my biggest hack is after sunscreen and moisturizer, you do Bubbly Bay all over, then you do foundation, and then everything sticks to your skin, so you can cover up your pimples a lot more.
It's almost like an adhesive primer. It's actually our smooth formula. So you can use it before your makeup, and then everything kind of tacks to your skin really beautifully. And I actually just did a video on this recently, but all Newsix products, I mean, I feel like K Beauty has been quite trendy right now, but in 2014 we actually worked with Korean labs to develop all of our products. So my mom Jenny, she's also a chemical engineer, so we really own all of our formulas, we develop all of our formulas, but we went to Korea to develop formulas and on a mass scale because they really have the best innovations when it comes to beauty, and a lot of innovations that typically we'll find here in America years after you've already seen it in that market. So going in with our next, this is called Bubba. So we actually partnered with a makeup artist and influencer. His name is Kevin Kodra, and this is a beautiful warm tone pink. So it's a pink that will truly look beautiful on all skin tones. And if you are intimidated by bright colors, I do like to take my brush again onto the stick, kind of tap it into my hand, and then we're going to apply that on the tops of the cheeks. So depending on your face shape, you want to apply your blush where you want to essentially add, whether it's a sculpting look, whether it's more of a sun-kissed look, whether it's more of a, I would say, youthful flush look. With Maggie, I'm going to accentuate her cheeks because she does have a really beautiful sculpted look. So we're going to really position the blush on the high points of her cheeks. So I like to call this almost like the V shape. So when you start from the temples and then you come down onto the cheek, but you're not going to bring the blush onto the center of the cheek, because if you do that, you're going to start seeing more of like this sun-kissed blush look versus more of a sculpted blush look. So blush positioning, I think, makes such a difference in the way your makeup looks, and really working with the natural structure of your face.
If you want like a night look, you go up like this, and then day look is sometimes you bring it across.
Totally. Yeah, you can. I think it depends, like for me, like you can totally change the way your features can look with blush or with bronzer. So with blush, if you do want more of a sculpted or let's say more chiseled appearance, you can keep the blush more sculpted. Don't bring it towards the cheeks. If you do want more of a playful, rosy blush, I like to call it more of like a baby doll, baby girl look, you can take it right in the center of the apple of the cheek. So, I mean, I will do everything depending on the day. I think sun-kissed is definitely one of the easiest ways to apply blush because you literally just swipe it along the nose, along the high point of the cheek. And what I love about this formula too is that it applies on top powder, it applies on top of full coverage foundation beautifully. You don't have to worry about it removing the base makeup because again, it doesn't have as many solubilizers as a lot of cream blushes that typically will, I would say, break up the makeup. Now, you're a huge blusher. That's a blush. So much. What is your favorite shade for blush?
Well, I think like in the summer, I like it where it looks a little bit more natural. Like sun-kissed is where I go like kind of all the way across, where it looks like you get a sunburn almost. And then when I'm going out, because I really like to accentuate my cheekbones, like I'll even put a little bit of concealer below, and then I'll just do the blush like up here, so it looks like that Bella Hadid look, you know?
Like that's exactly this look. Like I feel like, especially with your hair back,
It's like back,
I
yeah.
think like depending on even like the hair, the look you're trying to achieve. If you were wearing your hair down and it was a little bit really back, like I'd probably do more of a sun-kissed vibe. But I think with this look, it works with like your brows.
Yeah. Do you ever put blush? I feel like you've done it here sometimes. Why do people do? Oh, you always do it there. Okay.
I actually
Why?
saw the makeup artist. But I also love to place my blush on my eyes, and I'm like, yes. Like it's so, I'm sure people here have had a moment where they're like, oh, I don't like blush, it doesn't look good on me. Who says that?
Okay.
Right? I think a lot of people don't love blush on them because a lot of people historically would just place blush here and that's it. And then it's very evident that you actually have blush, right? Versus if you take some of that color, I actually learned this tip from Mary Phillips, and she would take whatever's left on the brush and she would just swipe that everywhere. So I love taking on the eyes. So kind of like in the brow bone or on the lid itself, just brings everything together. Like I said, you get blush or you get a little bit of sun. You're not just blushing on your cheeks, you're kind of flushing in a few different areas. Even the chin is like a very underrated area. It's one of my favorite places actually.
I'm like, okay. That's what it looks like.
I don't know what it is, but it kind of just brings the whole entire look together. And I think when you start playing around with it in this way, you start to, I would say, feel a little bit less intimidated by blush because it is very like malleable where you apply it. It's a very versatile product. And this product was truly made for eye contact. So you and then we're gonna add glow. So I'm obsessed. I probably look very glowy right now because I'm also probably really sweaty. Which is another way to glow. Yeah. This is called our Nudies Glow in Ice Ice Baby. I feel like you love Ice Ice Baby, but Vivid.
Yeah.
And you see, like, it kind of gives you this like glassy skin finish. So if you're someone who says, I mean, I'm of the opinion, maybe a hot take, is that powder highlights are no more. I'm so sorry. But I feel like the powder highlights have been collecting dust probably in our makeup bag since like 2015. And now we've always loved this kind of like glassy, juicy look to glow because that really imitates natural, glowy, healthy skin. So that's exactly what you're going to achieve with this product. You can use your fingers like that. And where you can apply glow, you know, is really depending on, again, where you want it. Some people love oilier skin. You may want to just take it onto the high point of the face. I want to slightly tap it on that cheek, on her brow bone. And then you can see here where the sun, the light, no sun here, light hits, is you can see this really beautiful, like glassy, juicy, but it doesn't have color. We do have ones that have tiny bits of like warmer tints to them, but this one in particular actually is point here. So it's just getting that like really pigmented, like imperial highlight. I always recommend this to people who are like, I want my skin to look like I just came back from the spa. Or I just like glowing because I don't really tell when it glows really fast. It's just like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's
my vibe. I also just feel like I like no makeup a lot where it looks very natural and it like needs to do a better job than that.
it does. And I think, you know, if you're applying highlight as well, like I always say, if someone doesn't like highlight, it's also probably because they're placing it everywhere and they're like, oh, this is almost too much. Whereas you can be really strategic with this and place it where you just want intentionally, and then you kind of powder or mattify in other areas where you want to look a little bit softer. But just that in itself, it looks beautiful. I like this.
Okay, good. You guys are my mirror right now, so I'm like, I can't see.
Yeah. But that was just with a few couple of products and just added a beautiful like blush to her skin. Not that her skin didn't look beautiful before, but with this bronze and blush and glow, just added more of like this freshness and light to her skin. I love it.
Do you ever layer blushes? Like if you want a different look, like if you're doing it across, you can put two different colors on in different spots? Okay.
Well, sometimes, like, has anyone tried the ombre blush trend? Yeah. So that one's great because you can mix different blushes together. Or like you can start with like one deeper blush, go in with a lighter blush, and then it creates this like very customized blush, but also adds a little bit of contour effect as well. Maybe I'm going to use our lip and cheek pencil. So this is the shade Sunkissed Nude. We have a variety of lip pencils. What's really funny about, I would say, the trajectory of this product is we launched it in 2014. And I remember it was really about traditional lip liners, so skinny lip liners, right? Which obviously serve a purpose and are amazing. We were like, you know what, we don't want skinny liners because we want the versatility. Use this as kind of a blurring lip liner. You can use it as a color, you can use it as a blush. Now I feel like everyone's talking about chubby lip pencils. But this was one of our OG products. We have a variety of shades, variety of textures. In our intense matte, what I love about this is that it's matte, but it's super, super creamy, super easy to blend. And this is lip and cheek. So I'm going to just line Maggie's lips. I'm a big fan of like intentional. like very strategic lip lining. I feel like you do a really great job with it.
I don't really like to overline my lips too much. Can I tell you what somebody told me when they were doing my makeup? They were like, don't accentuate more than 2 features at once. So if you have like your eyes and your cheekbones, then they say if you also do your lips, you kind of look like a clown. You're starting to like do too many big things. So I basically only do my eyes and my cheeks usually.
Yeah, I love that though. I think the way I personally think looking at features and saying, okay, what do I want to wear?
Yeah.
And so especially you, I feel like you have such like beautiful like eyes, cheeks, and like that is what I think is really good with you, and not just specific at first. So if you play up those features that you're like, oh, I love this about whether it's my brows or whether it's my eyes or my lips, and just working with that, I think it's totally. So I'm not gonna overline it.
Okay, good.
we're gonna play settle. So we're just gonna follow Maggie's Snap. This is the shade and sun. I personally love the shade because especially for like the light skin tone, it does super exactly. And it's just a very subtle line. We obviously have a variety of different shades. I think this one in particular is great because it has neutrality to it. So it gives you again that kind of sculpted look without looking like you have and these you can really build with your eyes well. And then talk a little bit about mixing blushes. So this is a live-in cheek, so you can use it on the cheeks as well. I'm just preparing a little bit of color. I'm just going to take the product on my hand, and you don't really need to do this yourself. Like you can totally just apply it on my face. I'm going to take my brush, and because it's a really like shade, it's kind of give her that ombre effect. And do you see how it's kind of blended everything together in the line? Like, yes.
Like, what am I gonna look like at the end?
You're like, it's funny because I can use a lot of, when you look at myself, like, you're gonna be like, oh, like, this is very special. Like, I have a very light skin.
Yeah.
And I think that is almost when you're starting out with makeup, or even just for everyday, it's easier to add this to it. And so I've always been taught my makeup artist is like light layers, light layers, light layers, versus doing it like one specific. That's a lot harder to mix.
Yeah.
Probably like how much do you contractor after this, and be like, what are you doing? Okay. And then Maggie's already wearing a little bit of eyeliner, so I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on it. Although I really love working with Maggie's eyes. This is our eye pencil. This actually won an award for that eye pencil of the year. Wow. What I love about this, for anyone who has watery eyes, oily lids, it's hot. This is waterproof, smudge-proof, crease-proof. It literally does not budge. I'm a big eye pencil girly because I love that you can just draw all over the lid or wherever you want a little bit of color. This is the shade Freya, so it's going to give her just a tiny bit of luminosity. It pairs really well with the liner, and you just want to go in with your fingers or a brush or pen. Notice how it just gave her like a tiny bit of glow to the eye. Sorry guys, I'm flying here. And then we're going to blend it down together. Like you can create such a beautiful look with such cute products and just like really intentional placement. And the formulas, the way we design them, are to be really light and just melt into the skin. So you don't worry.
I trust you. It's been so long.
I was gonna say first time was at the event we did our
Pop-up, yeah. Yes.
I messaged Maggie like a few weeks ago. I was like, Maggie, I'm doing an event for us. Like, I want you to come. Like, can you do a meeting for me? She's like, yes, yes, yes. Like, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Always support women in your life. It's so important.
and then we're gonna go in with the HSR lip butter. So this is by far, I think, the best lip butter I've created.
Well, I think I buy lip glosses for a few reasons. Like one, I don't like to always have to wear liner because it comes off. So I wanted something tinted. And then I also just like the smell. So I love smelling it and putting it on my lips. But I think for me, I always like looked in the market and I was like, why does nobody have just like a subtle red? Like subtle, where you can put it on without a mirror. It doesn't feel like you're gonna get like clown lips again. Not that I'm obsessed with not obsessed with clowns, but just like you can put it on without having to look at it, and you're gonna get some blush. And I feel like it's just very feminine, very chic, very put together. And then what I do like is you can also put a liner underneath and completely change the shade. So I just love the smell the most, but everything else is gravy.
The smell is to die for.
Yeah.
Whenever I put these on my lips, someone is like, is someone
See.
making me?
Yes.
What is this?
Yes.
Yeah.
It smells like maple syrup. Yeah.
You can pass it around afterwards.
We're both Canadian. We're from both from Toronto. So is the six. Toronto the six. Yes.
Are you guys from Toronto too?
I get
That's rare. Are you from California?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I feel like Kendrick really owns California.
Yeah.
So the fact that you girls are Drake fans is like.
So we love Toronto, and maple syrup is like the OG of Canada. So we just made it Canadian. Yeah.
And with your new six purchases today,
But the crazy thing too is that it doesn't actually come out like that when it's on. Like it's so much more subtle. So you can, like Taylor was saying, you can build it up, but it also doesn't go on that strong. Like if you put it on me, you won't be like her lips are red, you know?
exactly. And I love what you said is like it really can take on the form of like any lip product you put underneath. So it just adds the like smallest amount of color. You can like throw it on after the gym and not worry that Maggie's point you're gonna look like a clown because you don't have a mirror. You're going from gym to work and you're not showing up like. So I'm just gonna because. Like the apply top. And I personally love the gloss our lip butter does have tripeptides, colors, and then you also have shea butter, you have avocado. So it really is a treatment first product with like a slight tint. I'm like, I love it. You're the hype girl.
Yeah.
I'm mixed.
Yeah.
We're here all day. So that is like super easy.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You can smell it, right?
Yeah. And it's very like, but on the lips it actually isn't intense. Like it just has this really nice soft.
Yeah.
It's nostalgic. For us, it's very nostalgic, and I'm sure everyone has like so that is the final.
What do I say? Okay, good.
And obviously, as you know, for anyone who purchases Good Sticks today, we do have lip butter, HSR lip butter as a gift with purchase. Because we don't sell HSR here, we're super excited to make this kind of like exclusive gift with purchase because we have not had this today. So thank you so much for joining. Yes.
Does anybody have any blush questions or questions in general?
Yeah, so for the subject, what I would do is I would take the color and I would
Be sun-kissed. But I could be sun-kissed for you.
I would just take a section and I would drag it and you can almost create this like striping look from upper cheekbone, upper so you can definitely take it. I would say sun-kissed for me, when you get color in the sun, you're getting color like all the high points of the face. So usually that's the nose, cheekbones, the temples. I like the chinny ones to say, oh, you're sun-kissed. But if your chin sometimes is a high point as well, you will get a little color in the brow area. So that's my favorite.
Well, funnily enough, when Taylor came to LA to visit me one time, we were just friends at this point, and we went to a party where we were like drinking. At the end of the night, I like whip out my computer and I'm like, Taylor, let me run you through this deck of who I think you guys should work with as trainers. And so I like have always been obsessed with business, but I also love being feminine. And so I was like, I just really want to like surround myself with women who you can like go to a bar with and then also talk about beauty, and then we just ended up like really organically mixing the two together. I was actually never like a YouTube girly growing up, never. But I started to love makeup through actually as I got older. Like I realized I could change how I felt, and like some days I'm sad, some days I'm excited, some days I'm like wanting to be really powerful, and makeup just like allows me to do that. So mine was a little bit later in life actually. Yeah.
Because I feel like everyone has like this different version of like kind of beauty and what it means to them. I feel like it's always been very holistic.
Yeah.
And obviously makeup is kind of like this necessary
Yeah.
like your hormones or working on your health and
Skincare. I had crazy like cystic acne. Yeah. So then you kind of feel like you're trying to change away from who you are because you just like want to get rid of scars or like indents or whatever. And then for me, I finally got to a place where I was like, beauty should be like accentuating myself, not like changing myself. And that took until I was like in my like mid-20s to do. Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that I like so good. It was like it wasn't necessarily this kind of guideline or rule book. You needed to wear X amount of makeup or you needed to wear products in this way. I think what's beautiful about this brand is that you can kind of work it the way you like to feel most comfortable. So you want to go heavy on the blush, go heavy on the blush. If you want to do a bold eye, do bold eye, but in an easy way that doesn't feel intimidating. So I think it should be kind of
Great question. Any other questions? This is a very cool looking group. Everybody give a wave. Oh my goodness.
And I go out a lot, so I'm always here.
Yeah, same girl. Love it. They should use that white one that you guys have, the barrier. Yeah.
to say we have it in a stick. It's called our Blood for Stick, and I like to call it's your powder alternative for someone who maybe wears lighter makeup but doesn't love wearing powders or touching up with powders throughout the day. So this is actually an oil absorbing stick that good volcanic ash. Use it before your makeup or like post gym, and it's so easy to apply with the show too after. And it's like this boy girl savior. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Any other questions? So Maggie, I know we're close to you. If anyone wants to take photos with Maggie
Or with Taylor.
or with both of us together,
Yeah.
we'll be here. And then we also have our incredible Nude Sticks team to help you if you do want to discover any Nude Sticks products. Also discover the gift purchase. We also have some candy if you guys want candy, a little snack. Yeah, that's it. So
Thank you so much for coming.